Hi, everyone. Thank you for having me here. I'm going to talk about the workplace. If the workplace looked anything like our world, it would have 50% women and 50% men. 7% would have a college degree. 55% would have access to the internet. And only 70% would have access to smartphones. It certainly doesn't look like this. The workplace I'm talking about certainly doesn't have 50% women and 50% men. What do you think it looks like? Steadily, we have seen a decline in the number of women at the workplace. Even in the so-called tech industry, which is supposed to be very, very friendly for women, less than 40% women. When it comes to CEOs, CFOs, women on the boards, 17%, despite the fact that there is a law which ensures that there is at least one woman on every board. 17% women board members. CEOs, 4.7%. Finance is supposed to be the woman-friendly thing. We have many banks which have CEOs who are women and women rising in that sector, yet we have 3.5% CFOs as women. When it comes to growth, as we go up the ladder, the number of women reduces. While at the entry level, we might be close to 38%, as we go up, 11%. So what happens? What happens to all these people who are out there, are being educated, and yet they're not there at the workplaces? And here I'm talking about women. I'm not even talking about members of the LGBTQIA. I don't have data. I don't have data as to what percentage of the workforce in India is LGBTQIA. Why is that so? That data is not available because A, it is only very recently that it is being tracked, that too by organizations that support LGBTQI. The government doesn't track that data, even though it was in 2014 that the Supreme Court first recognized the third gender. 2018, decriminalization of gay sex. Yet, we don't have data to say how many people at the workplace are LGBTQAI. Many of the reasons point in the direction, A, people don't come out. So even if I was to conduct a survey, go around checking, people will not show up and say, yes, I'm a member of the LGBTQAI community. B, when a survey was conducted in 2019 and then subsequently in 2021, only 55 organizations participated in that survey. Corporate India is not interested in finding out these numbers. When it comes to various things like what are the factors that hold people back? So my dear friend earlier asked that there is a question that is often asked, where do you see yourself 5 years from now? Women are routinely asked, can you travel? You have a small child. What are your plans to have a child? Who is going to look after your children and your parents when you're traveling? Who's going to cook if you're going to work long hours? Routinely, people make these decisions for us, have these stereotypes in our face. We are not taken for high visibility, high impact projects because somebody, out of the goodness of their heart, decided, oh, I won't be able to manage this. How far do you live? How will you commute? Oh, will your husband take a transfer with you if the job is in a different city? That happens at hiring, and then when we join the organization, growth and development, there's further barriers, okay? So there is the whole networking thing, because people network over drinks after work, and I need to get home, and it is not recognized. Networking during sutta breaks, I'm left out. So what do? I start eating chewing gum after lunch so that I can go with everybody for a walk. The kind of clothes I wear, the kind of tone I use, If I am out there, forward, assertive, I'm labeled as aggressive. If I'm quiet, if I wait, if I listen, I'm too shy. I don't have the fire in me. There are all kinds of pressures to conform to stereotypes. As a gay person, I'm expected to dress a certain way, talk a certain way. My mannerisms come under scrutiny. And then, of course, there is this whole thing of harassment. In fact, there is a survey that showed that 40% people shared that the harassment comes from their managers and HR rather than from their colleagues. We all react to diversity in various forms. Diversity is not just about gender. Diversity is about the way we talk, our food habits, our clothes, our preferred language, people with disabilities. And we respond to diversity in many, many ways. It could be based on our own stereotypes, the way we've been brought up, our own experiences. Some of us clam up. Some of us become all awkward. We don't know how to deal with it. So I had this friend who was visually impaired, and we were in college, and he said, let's go for a movie. And I froze. Like, a visually impaired person saying, let's go for a movie, what am I supposed to do? The same thing happens when a friend or a family member decides to come out. Some people pretend it's not happening. Some people try to cure them, right? Take them to some Baba or the other. There are many responses to diversity. And of course, there is harassment and there is sexual harassment. In 2013, a law came out to protect women from sexual offenses at the workplace. This came out after many years. 1997 was the first time India heard about sexual harassment at workplace when the Vishakha guidelines were introduced. 2013, we get a law, a year after the Nirbhaya incident, and the law protects women only, as a sexual harassment of anyone who does not identify as female does not happen. Let me tell you a story. I work with many organizations on creating a safe workplace, especially prevention of sexual harassment. So there is this organization in financial services. They have an office somewhere on the border of Maharashtra and Karnataka, 17 employees in that office, 3 are women. So there is this training program organized in Mumbai. Some people are nominated for that program. This gentleman, he's sent for that program. They are put up in this fancy hotel. He gets into that hotel, finds this bathtub, nice fancy bathroom with a bathtub, takes a nude selfie and sends it to those 3 women in his office. You receive a picture like that and you're stunned. In that world, your phone is not your own. Your children play games on it, your in-laws use it, your husband has access to it. So what do? You delete it. And you zip up. Because the moment you will mention it, you are going to be blamed. Why is that picture on your phone? You must have done something to encourage it. So you delete it and never speak about it. Till a few weeks later, during a casual conversation, you realize you're not the only one. You're talking to the others and you realize you got it and you got it. That's when you get the courage to raise a complaint. Even today, almost 9 years after the law came out, less than 20% instances of sexual harassment of women get reported. Sexual harassment of men, I don't have data. Sexual harassment of LGBTQIA communities, I don't have data. There is no research happening on that. Is it that they are not sexually harassed? Of course they are. I routinely get complaints from men with the organizations that I work with because some organizations in corporate India have taken the step forward and made their policies gender neutral. So there was this person working in this FMCG organization, and he was being teased mercilessly about being gay. People even went to the extent of setting him up with other people. And, jokes, banter. He got really, really disturbed by this. He approaches his manager and he approaches HR. What do you think was the reaction? Chill. Come on, it's only a joke. Why are you taking it so seriously? Relax, yeah? Nobody means any harm. Nobody takes any actions. Nobody takes any steps in any direction. When it comes to harassment, it is like a virus. That's a picture of the COVID virus. It's dangerous. Any form of harassment, especially sexual harassment, is dangerous. If you allow it to spread, it is going to wipe out cultures. So it's up to us to take the appropriate steps to prevent and prohibit any kind of harassment that happens around us, any kind of diversity which is not included. Being diverse is easy. This is a diverse environment. We don't have to do anything. It's a noun. Diversity is a noun. Inclusion is a verb. It's something we do. No effort required to make a diverse workplace, but plenty of effort required to make an inclusive workplace. And I call myself a consultant in DEI. And I routinely ask myself these questions. Am I doing enough? What am I doing to encourage more people to my table? What am I doing to meet newer people? What are the steps that I'm taking to listen more deeply? What are those behaviors of mine that are coming in the way of people feeling themselves and being able to be themselves in my presence? Am I fake? Am I just milking this new buzzword to be a consultant? Is there something in my behaviors that is holding people back from being themselves in my presence? When are they most happy to be in my presence? My son is at university and his friends are gender fluid. And I wonder, in 5+ decades of my life, people I went to school with, people I went to college with, what happened? Why is nobody feeling comfortable about being themselves in my presence? All the people who are different are people I've known in the last 10, 12 years. What about the kids I played with when I was a 10-year-old, 12-year-old? At a recent family wedding, met many relatives and friends who I rarely meet. I look back and say, was that wedding an opportunity for me to know them better? Did I have deep conversations with any of them beyond, hi, how are you, how are the kids? Did I get to know them in a way that I didn't know them earlier? Did I listen to them more deeply? Did they share with me more than they had shared in the past? I'm very happy to say the answer to that is yes. And it's yes because I consciously worked on it. I made it my agenda to do it because inclusion begins with I. Thank you very much.